Hello and welcome to the Realistic Customizable Roads Quick Start Guide for version 2.3. I'm really glad to have this out, and everyone who's been waiting for it, I appreciate your patience. I had a surgery there, and it's a bit of recovery time, which ate some time up. Everything's fine, of course. And then I also got COVID, which was just great. But it's all done now and dropped right on time here for Unreal Engine 5.2, which seems to have made some bug fixes, which is nice to see. Epic seems to be working on curing a few things that have been problematic. So if you're using 5, I would suggest just ditching 5.0, 5.1, going to 5.2. There's still things that need to be fixed, but it's getting better. I'll try to keep this quick start guide at a methodical, steady pace that's easy to follow, so that acquainted users who maybe need a refresher can easily follow along. I suggest if you're a new user that you actually watch all of the videos in order. There's a first tutorial video, then some quick start guide for each update. That's important so that you understand how to use the roads and how to get the most out of them so that your creations come out looking amazing. You'll really want to make sure you start at the beginning of the tutorials and get all up to speed. It's well worth it. I highly recommend it. Now let's get started on what's new with the version 2.3 update. There's a lot to look at. First of all, while we're here and I'm floating around, I'd like to point out we have concrete roads now to work with. These are they come in a variety of ages here. So this is a new one here. I'm going to hit play so I can get rid of all the notes. So we got a new type concrete. This is a slightly aged one, then it carries over into medium aged concrete material, and that carries over into a very aged concrete material. This thing is seeing some heavy use. If you get down here, these are even the grooves for traction have worn down to nothing. The spots, the oil spots that you see in the real world on concrete material, though, this is randomized, so they shouldn't be too obviously repeating to the eye. They shouldn't look repeating at all. So in developing these, I had to come up with dimensions that would all fit together like building blocks, and I was also looking at a lot of real-world examples of on-ramps, off-ramps, and concrete. Concrete they'll typically use on freeways and bridges, high-use areas that see a lot of traffic, a lot of heavy trucks, semi-trucks, tractor trailers that would be maybe too much for asphalt. Also, high use areas can be difficult to go in and replace asphalt constantly, so they'll opt for concrete. So what I've done is created a variety of pieces here. Let's pull them out and I'll show you, that are designed to fit together so that you can make an on-ramp, an off-ramp. You can make merging on and off lanes, and you can put it together in different ways so that you can create most of the real-world on-ramp, off-ramp scenarios. So what I'll do is go under the RC Roads folder here. Then I will navigate to Bridge and Freeway Splines. I'll open that up. Within that, there's some new items. We'll cover some of these in a minute. But I'm going to go to on-ramps and off-ramps here. Open that. And then there is blueprints here. And there's also just plain static mesh pieces. Some of these pieces need to just be static so that it's easier to join the spline blueprints to them. And also just because of their unique shapes and road markings. So let's take a look at the 428 meter sections. That's 428 meter sections, as in here's a 28 meter that we've already had right here. I'll pull it out, and there we go. This can be either a bridge piece or a freeway piece. If you wanted it elevated, you'd keep the columns, of course, the support pillars, the piles. If you wanted it to be in the ground, you would just lower it and then turn off the piles by going over here and going to let's see, turn off landscaper piles right here. We'll open that, and then the first option, use piles, we would just turn that off, and they're gone. That could be a ground level section of freeway. Anyway, this is the section I'm talking about when I say under the on-ramps and off-ramps, these meshes are for 28 meters. This is a 28 meter section. That is because, let's pull some out here. For example, we'll take this static mesh D, 28 meter right hand off ramp tri-fit. RH is right hand, that's considering, you know, American right hand driving. So what I'll do is line that up like that. There we go. And you'll notice this side has a barrier. This side does not. And there's a piece that fits here. It's the beginning of a off-ramp. So I'll go back into my pieces, and I'll go to, this time, under off, on and off ramps. I'll go down to meshes and select a universal fit, and that would be the off-ramp try. B, static mesh B, off-ramp try. I'll put that right here. Pull it up. There it is. So this is where the beginning of a merging lane to leave the freeway or bridge is at, or overpass. And then we'll go back into on-ramps, off-ramps. I'm going to go to 428 meter, and I need the piece that fits this cross section right here. So we have 3 lanes here, 3 lanes here, and the beginning here is for a lane to leave on an off-ramp. So I have a variety available. Here's piece E. You see piece E has a merging on-off lane on both sides, because you can make one that it has on-ramp, off-ramp on each side that's going on. And then we'll go to a G. As you see, G has 3 lanes, and then 3 lanes plus the on-off merge. That's the piece we want for here. So I'll bring that over, line it up, and snap that in place. Now, that is the static mesh version piece there. We also have, you'll see that was static mesh G. So under blueprints, for on-ramps, off-ramps, we'll go to blueprints. And I will locate G. Here's blueprint G. This is the same piece. However, let's turn piles off for now. I'll drag this out. Okay. This is a spline mesh, so we can actually pull it out, curve it, whatever we need to do. That's a pretty bad curve, unrealistic curve there. Raise it, whatever we want to happen here. For now, I'm just going to keep it very simple for demonstration. Bring it back here. All right. So you can have this section where the vehicles are getting ready to leave the freeway for as long as you want it or need it. Typically, you probably want to aim for maybe at least 80 meters of lane here before you hit the off ramp for a more realistic feel, a look. And that's about what they use for 65 mile per hour freeway. Sometimes it's a little less, not much less, and then sometimes it's a little bit longer. Let's go to the content drawer, and then I want to pull out the section that has the off-ramp beginning. So I'm going to go to on-ramps and off-ramps. Then I'm going to go to universal fit. No, I'm sorry, excuse me, 428 meter. And then what I need is one of these F pieces. There's a static mesh F1, static mesh F2, static mesh F3, static mesh F4. I need the piece that fits what we have here, this cross section, which again is a 3 lane over here, and then 3 lanes plus the merging lane over here. So I'm going to pull out F2, I believe it is. F2 off ramp. Yes. And then line that up again. Bring it up. There it is in place. Okay. Oops, you know what? That's not right. I forgot a whole section. Move that out here. And before I put that in, I'm going to go over here to grab this section here. That is static mesh I. That has the 3 lanes over here, 3 lanes plus the off-ramp lane. And I'll bring that up, lock it in place. There it is. I've got my grid units at 100 right now, just to make things very easy. And then now I'll connect this piece. So you can see the vehicles would prepare to merge off of the freeway, get into this lane, and then begin to take the off-ramp. Now the off-ramp pieces are right here. We go to content drawer. We'll go to the on-ramps, off-ramps, and then the blueprints. And we want a on-off ramp, BP spline on-off ramp. Take this, get it lined up over here. Okay, we'll grab that other spline point there. Pull it out. And maybe it starts to elevate. Maybe it's going to another freeway. I'm doing a terrible job of curves here. We'll get this sorted out. But just for demonstration purposes, I want to make something kind of extreme here. Okay. That's a very unrealistic tight turn. In the real world, it would need to be much bigger radius. But we'll make this work for now. Because what I want to show is actually the piles. I want to do a reminder here. Okay. So this first pile obviously doesn't work. That's not going to do any good. This pile out here is where it's starting to look like, okay, that's correct. That would be there. If we keep going up, maybe we want that one too. Alright, so we don't want these first two. And what you need to remember is that if you come over here with the spline mesh selected, if you come over here and go to the section under piles, if it's not open, just click the drop down. There's the use piles we were toggling. Turn them on, off, turn them back on. Let's go down here to pile, first cut off. We don't want these first two. So at first cut off, I'm going to enter 2. Now it doesn't generate the first two piles. In fact, it doesn't start until over here. And in fact, if we didn't want that one either, we could just change that to 3. First cutoff is 3. So it doesn't generate the first 3. And then also don't forget, you can change the pile spacing. So we can lower or increase that accordingly. Currently it's at 3,000. But if I drop it way down, now it's generating about every 1,500. So we'll bring that back up to 3,000. Full control on that. Okay, so it's just stopped and went back for just a second here. I've got to correct this spline a little bit so I can get it out of the way to show the next part that I want to show. That's my fault for generating such a outrageous curve. We'll call that good. Okay. Now, we still need to fit a section in here. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to grab the regular 28 meter section, asphalt one. Under bridges and freeway splines, I'll go to 28 meter to blueprints. And I'll go ahead and grab this, bring it out. You can see that's one of the piles. It's the type of pile they use for a bridge or freeway section that may be subjected to high volume flows of water. I'll go ahead and turn that pile off for now. Under piles, so you uncheck use piles. Let's get this lined up and then extend. Okay, and then here's what I want to show. These street lights are not working, obviously. There's two crossing each other. So we're going to do the same type of thing that we did for the piles on the off-ramp. I'm going to select the off-ramp. Then I'm going to go to prop actors. Okay, and then excuse me, let me pull this out so you can better see what I'm looking at. Alright, so we want to go to prop actors. This is a left street light, so we don't want right, we want left, prop actors left. And I'm going to go to the props BP first cutoff left, and just like we did with the piles, I'm going to say that I don't want the first one generated on the left. So I'll hit 1, enter that in there. There. That street light is now out of the way. We still have an issue with this section. Its street light, its right street light, is in the way of the off ramp. So same thing with this section selected. We'll go to prop actors right this time, and for the props BP first cutoff right, we'll hit 1. There, that got that street light out of the way. That's looking better. And you'll have to excuse my sloppy connection here. Looks like I was a little bit off. I'll change the grid spacing to 1. Bring that over just a little. There. That's better. Of course, if you're really creating your level, you can do a very perfect job. Now, where in the real world where concrete and asphalt meet, there is usually a joiner, especially if it's a bridge or an overpass, somewhere where there's going to be elevation. There's a connection joint piece to allow for flexibility. So I'm actually going to bring all of this up now. So what I've included now is one of those joiner pieces. This is taken from a freeway in LA. So we'll go to Joints and Joins, go to Blueprints, and I'm going to go to BP Metal Joiner. So if there's elevation, this is what you would want to use. Bring it over here. We'll bring it up just a touch. And what you'll find is, even though that is slightly elevated off the surface, you cannot really tell. And we'll pull that across. There it is. Now, the concrete material, of course, it has multi-layer functionality. You can use mesh paint, and you can also there's the 3 different aging and weathering versions of the concrete. So let's take a look at that. Under concrete, under content drawer here, we'll go to, actually I'll show you the easier way if you're lost in trying to find it. I have this piece selected. Over here under the details panel, I can see that it's concrete is materials right here under element 0. It's right there, concrete road 1. That's the material that we want. So I'll hit the browse to toggle right there, and there it is. Takes us right to it. So here's concrete road type 1, 2, 3, and here's the asphalts type 1, 2, and 3. So if I don't like this particular age of concrete, maybe I want something that's more run down, I could change that by just selecting concrete road 2 and coming back over here to our details panel. in the same element where the concrete material is, I'll hit the Use Selected Asset from Content Browsers, this little arrow, and I'll put it right in there. Give it a minute to process, and now the new material is on it. Working with these materials, we're going to switch to Mesh Paint mode. So I'll go up here to mode. And again, if you are on Unreal 4, it's the same thing, it's just the editor windows look a little bit different. But I'll switch mode to Mesh Paint, select my piece, I'll hit Paint, and then my size right now is 0.25, strength is 5. I'm going to bring that up. What if I want to, let's see, let's right here under channels, each of these channels is a different thing that you can manipulate. So red will change the, I'll just show you here. Red, if I hit shift and left click and drag, what that's doing is bringing in the heavier use, the heavier wear material. This is typically found in the middle of a lane where cars are, their oil, the smog, and the just the wear is collecting deep into the grooves. Gets black in there, and then typically what will happen is the tires. So I'll decrease my size about there. The tires will pick up and carry off a lot of that gunk, so they'll kind of clean it in a way. So I will bring back some of that. Just a left click and a drag. I hit shift and left click. Let's get a center strip going on here. So this is a little more like real world concrete use. A lot of these colors I took off of freeways in Los Angeles. Just studying a lot of those. And then if we want to change the overall wear, we'll switch to green channel. Now if I hit shift, I can lighten it all up. So we can de-age it a little bit. And I think what's really effective is if you use a little of each. So sometimes there's just an area of heavier soot and grime. You can see there. So you decorate as you see fit, and that's how you'll get a very convincing, realistic look. Just for a look, let's switch out to the Concrete Road 3. Again, if you can't find where these are, they are in Content, RC Roads, Road Splines. So that's actually here. We were up here. We'll scroll down to Road Splines. Then Materials. And under Shared and Material Instances, they are right in there. So I'm going to select 3. I'm going to put that on. Okay. This one is so worn that sections of it are just bald at this point. The grooves are taken out. Again, these are from LA freeways. A lot of this is what I studied for this. We can add more grime. We can change it up maybe. Let's just do sections of it that have nothing left. Sometimes if there was a a spill, big accident, fire, certain chemicals, concrete could be eaten away. Um, so it's a creative process. It's up to you how you want to do it. You can use red and green at the same time. So you could do something like that. And then of course the blue channel is still water. So we can create puddles here to get in a position where the lighting's a little more obvious to see that. But yeah, there's a puddle, see? If I'll go back into select mode out of mesh paint mode, there we go. So if you work it, you can craft a very, very realistic looking road. It's just a matter of personal taste. Now, in the materials themselves, let's take a look at that. So let's open up this. We're on 3 right now, for example. Bring the window down. We still have all the controls that we had for the asphalt. So it says use material layer blend. If we turn that off, let me collapse my window here. If we turn that off, it's going to get rid of the material blend. So now it's just all entirely worn concrete, which may be a look that you want. And then the tire wear color, we can turn that off too. Turn that off. Now it's just a plain solid. And then the puddles, the dampness here, we can turn that off, of course. That was a puddle we drew, excuse me. Let me turn that on. So there's our puddle, get where you can see that better. Turn that off. It's all the same as the asphalt. Let me scroll back up here. Let's turn back on our layer blend and our wear. Okay. You can change the wear color just like the asphalt. So we can change the color of it. Bring that up. I'll do extreme here so you can really see that. Let's undo. Cancel that. You can change the blend amount. So under tire wear color blend, you can increase, decrease. So you can dial in your color, then blend in how much you want. The road color itself, you can do the same thing. So for, let's do material 2. That's the material with the grooves on it. We can bring that down, darken that out. We can bring it up, lighten it up a little bit. That actually makes it look a little newer. And then we could say, okay, we like that. Material 1 color, we can change that as well. Bring it up, bring it down, find where we want it. And then there's also those same blends. I can say I want more of that color blended onto material 2. We're really lightening it up. And material 1 as well. You can change that too. So you can see there's infinite possibilities, and you can really dial in the exact look that you need. Right, so that covers the concrete material pretty well, I think. Oh, wait, I want to show this, the tiling. I would like to show that this is it's preset at a kind of a more realistic, closer to realistic spacing with the grooves. They're actually very tiny, but if you want them to look larger so that it's more apparent on a screen, you can dial in the tiling amount here. I have it set at 30. I could do 15, and that doubles the size, see? And then the second material, we can see that doesn't line up anymore. Now this is for Concrete Road 3. The tiling for the extremely worn concrete is 3 times the amount for the concrete with the grooves. That's just particular to this one. So I would say 3 times 15, and I'll do 45. And now it matches the scaling of the grooves on material 2. And just to demonstrate that point again, let me switch material one more time. Let's go back to 2. Okay. Alright, here's material 2. And let me open the material itself. Again, all the same controls. I'll go down here to tiling. On Concrete Road 1 and 2, for the material 1, the tiling is the same as material 2. So only for Concrete Road 3 is material 3 times the tiling of material 2. So I've got it at 30, I've got it at 30. If I changed it to 15 for 2, I would also change it to 15 for 1. Now the tiling's matching up a little bit better. Apparently I have a join section there. But you can see grooves are matching up now. Okay, let's take a look at the next subject. Road markings. So there's a lot of new road markings included in this update, as well as the road markings as just splines themselves, which was requested by a customer. So we have a lot. So there's a freeway sized dash, plain white line. That's probably easier to see on asphalt. So I'll bring that out again. Bring that here. Drag it out. And that's a spline, so we can also make curves like that. You can do it as wild as you want. Then we also have a variety of others. The types that have black underneath are what they do with concrete. It's a little hard to see the dashes and lines on a light surface, so that in the real world they'll put a black outline around or under it. And there's a whole bunch more. We'll just pull them out real quick. So you can see there's a lot to choose from here. Just about anything you could want. And what I'd like to demonstrate is another new feature. Is there's an aging control on it now. So if I took, let's see, how about this for example? If I took this piece, okay, and I'll hit Control B. It's this one here, this blueprint. I'll open that, and then I can see under Spline and then Mesh, and then Spline Meshes. It has one array element. There it is right there. I'll hit the Browse to, Okay, it's this piece here. I'll open that. I can see that it's using this material. I'll open that. Double click on that. Okay, you can see it also has a lot of the same controls that the road surface does. So we can use wetness, have it affected by the puddles. It's not really very applicable, but you can. And then under weathering aging road markings, there we go. We'll turn that on. And then now I can control how old this thing is. So right now it's at 0.38. I can make it brand new at 0. It's about 0 is new. It's like it was just painted. Then I can age it over the years here. And that's at 0.8. There's 0.9. There's 1. At 1, that's pretty well used. And beyond that is where they really need to come in and repaint it. Now that feature is on all of the road markings, including the ones that are pre-applied to the sections. So if I were to, for example, take, where's the section here? This one. And then excuse me, that's not it. Is it this? There it is. All right, let's go to its sidelines materials, which is right here. I'll open up that. Open that up. This also has the weathering aging, so it's at 0.1. I can increase that. You can see those are fading. I'll come over here to the white one. I'll increase the age. You see it's collecting dirt. Also on these pre-made mesh pieces, you can turn on cracks. So if you want more cracking, there's more cracking in it. Okay, what I'd like to show here is another new feature. Under the bridges and freeway splines, under joints and joins, under blueprints, we have concrete joint. In the real world, what you'll see quite often is, oops, I missed the surface there, that there's joins between different slabs of the concrete. For example, they may have done work where they put in newer concrete in an area and have an older section that has not yet been repaired. And then there'll be these tar-filled joints. So I've provided those as a spline. Bring that over just a bit. There we go. Now, this hard edge between two different types looks more real world here, where you've got the tar fill-in of the joint. Bring that across. I'll bring that all the way across. Again, this doesn't look very good yet because you need to do some mesh paint work on it. But just for the sake of example, there we go. Also, sometimes you'll see that they've just done a section. So it may be just a square area. Bring that across, and then let's duplicate it out that way. And it can be messy too. Sometimes they just do a jagged little slab. There was something perhaps under that section they needed to get to, so they took a jackhammer, cut that out, and then filled it back in. So if you take your time and craft a nicer job of things, you can see you can get some pretty good results. And of course you can create on-ramps as well. It's just an example here. Now this set provides just about everything you need to create most of the scenarios you might want. So of course it has to be a little bit of a one-size-fits-all, a little bit of everything, and I think it does that pretty well. So let's take a look at the next subject. One thing I'd like to mention is if you're having performance issues, it's likely due to the spacing of the streetlights, and a feature that has a significant impact that's in the engine itself. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to go up to Edit, Project Settings, and then down to, excuse me where I'm at here, Rendering, there. And then we're going to scroll down until we come to Shadows and Shadow Map Method. Chances are if you're on 5, this is set to Virtual Shadow Maps Beta. Note that it says it's in beta. That has quite a performance impact with lighting. So I would suggest using shadow maps. That's what I have mine set on, and that will really you'll really notice the difference in your frames. And then of course the spacing of the streetlights. If you have too many of these, it can really add up to a performance hit. So what you would do is just come down to with your spline mesh selected, you would go over here, go to spline, and then come down to prop actors, right and left, and change your spacing. So right now it's at 5,000. We could increase it to 7,000 or whatever you want, as much distance as you want. That'll cut down the amount of lights, and you should see a improvement in performance. I'm going to make some how-to tip videos to cover various subjects that I've seen questions on from customers to try and help out. They'll be shorter form videos, much shorter than these quick start guides or tutorials. Just cover basic topics. That something I'm looking to start within this next 2 weeks, and that should be helpful to users. So that does it for this quick start guide. Please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to stay updated on the how-to videos that are coming and the quick tip videos. And I look forward to hearing what you guys think. Please leave comments or questions. I'll do my best to get back to you. And thanks again. Have a great day.